Jay, that's strangely close to Daniel Jones from the Giants. Daniel, is that you? Beat the Chiefs. Show me. If the Broncos and Russell Wilson can show me that they can beat the Chiefs, then I will start believing.
The crowd up. And so are this defense, and Kansas City won't snap the ball again. The Denver Broncos have beaten the Kansas City Chiefs.
Dave Montgomery on the Lions, former Bear, gonna make this his revenge game for sure. David Montgomery gets the touchdown that ices the game. No! And there's the flag. There's flag. There's flag. There's flag. There's flag. Snap. Hold. Kick.
Denver wins! Denver wins! Let's go!
They open. No!
What happened? Oh shit.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the only football podcast tonight. Breaking news, Alexander Mattison, running back for the Vikings, is going to be released from the Vikings. What will the Vikings do? Kyle and I are going to be talking about that situation, as well as some of the fastest people in the combine, who were some of the fastest people last year, who are some of the fastest people of all time in the NFL combine. We're also going to get into news coming out of New England. Drake May, they will be selecting Drake May with the third overall pick, but they're going to get a veteran. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk a little bit about Atlanta wanting Justin Fields, the Chiefs' $800 million renovations going on after the World Cup, and of course, little chives with Kyle. Let's get it. America is football. Football is America.
Football is America. And if you don't like it, you can kiss your candy ass. On the moment in time, I'm giving F. Oh my god.
No.
You love this.
30 to 27. No! Chiefs win. Chiefs win 30 to 20. Woo!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Only Football Podcast. My name's Kyle and that's Rick.
All right, that's Kyle.
And man, a lot to cover. We got things going on in the combine as usual. We got storylines breaking within organizations, and we got potential trades going on. I just ran all the way downstairs to grab a vitamin water before we started, and I'm so out of breath and out of shape.
Kyle's going to be so full of vitamins by the end of this podcast. He's going to have so many goddamn vitamins.
So many vitamins. Oh, by the way, total sidebar here, but I just saw the movie The Whale. I don't know if you've seen it.
Oh, the one with Brendan Fraser? I haven't seen it, though.
He won, like, awards from it, and I was watching it, and I was, like, ugly crying. Like, you know when you, like, got that one tear, the cool cry, like, that one tear, like, drops when you blink? No, this was, like, that, like, snot, like, just, like, ugly crying. If somebody sees you, they would be like, "Are you okay?" Like,
dude, are you good? Like, are you like, what happened?
An amazing performance. I thought of that because when he accepted the award, he was out of breath, and I was starting this out of breath. But yeah, the defensive tackles did the combine today, and there's
breaking news first, Kyle.
Oh yeah, let's. Sorry about. I thought everyone knew this already, but Alexander. Actually, Rick broke this to me before we even started. But yeah, Alexander Mattison, who was the replacement for Dalvin Cook, and he did well enough with Cook dealing with injuries as he did every season pretty frequently.
Yeah.
He always filled in and did really well. And he did well enough for them to say, you know what? I think Alexander Mattison could be the guy, but not even a year later, released from the Vikings. What was your takeaway when you saw that immediately?
I mean, immediately I was like, oh God, what are the Vikings going to do at the running back position? Although they do have another running back, right? Don't they have one that was like, you said he was a little smaller. He was a little bit better. It seemed like I think he was a rookie last year. I believe. But initial reactions were that, like, what are they going to do at the running back position? Because some of these rookies, again, just like Alexander Mattison did with Dalvin Cook as as a second guy, right? Like, these guys might just be good as the backups in every 5-6 plays or so, right? Like, so I don't know if that may be the case. Obviously, with Alexander Mattison taking over running back duties this past season, they were expecting a little bit more. They got rid of Dalvin Cook for that reason. And Alexander Mattison was just completely underwhelming, being the number one running back for that team. So a little bit shocking. But it does kind of make sense. I feel like also, without Kirk Cousins there, the running game does get a little bit harder because, okay, you don't have Kirk Cousins, you don't have your number one quarterback. Well, now we just got to stop the run and make sure that Justin Jefferson and Addison are, covered, as well as we could. And I mean, that's kind of what happened in the running game, but a little bit of shocking at first for sure.
Yeah, and with all those free agents we talked about on Monday's episode, Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs, Saquon Barkley, Tony Pollard, Austin Eckler.
Yeah.
You look, I mean, if you're a Vikings fan, you're immediately looking to free agents in the draft to figure out who you're going to get, but it's hard to make a case that they're going to sign any of these big name running backs if they weren't willing to sign Dalvin Cook last year.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they would or why they would feel differently about Derrick Henry or Saquon Barkley as they did Dalvin Cook. But yeah, it's a big move. And I think it's safe to say, I don't know if it's, I guess, publicly been said, but I think the Vikings are in a rebuild. And I think it's a sneaky rebuild. They had Brian Flores, who's a first-time defensive coach, take over last season. They're looking to part ways with Kirk Cousins, and then you see moves like this. Do you think that's like a safe assessment that the Vikings are going through not a full-on, new coach, new head coach, new everything, but it's like the type of rebuild Denver has been in for the last 6 years. It's purgatory. It's what it is.
On this episode on how to make it about Denver Broncos.
Steelers are a little bit better, but similar. Can't get the quarterback right.
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of what I was thinking too. I was like, as a fan, you kind of hate to see shit like this because you are basically saying, hey, we might contend for the playoffs. You know what I mean? Or we might be completely out of it. But we've got pieces that can get us to the playoffs. And then as a fan, you're just like either get a star running back and a star quarterback in free agency or rebuild. Just rebuild completely. So this like floating, like not really in it, but not really out of it type of situation, you kind of really do hate to see as a fan. Because, kind of you said about the Broncos, I felt like the Bears were there for a few years, especially with like John Fox and when the Phil Emery whole regime was there. So, yeah, it does.
You're there right now.
I mean, we're there right. Well, we're actually doing a full rebuild though, which is nice.
Yeah,
and even with like Justin Fields too, like this past year, it just seemed like, okay, we have DJ Moore, we got these guys. How, so for the Vikings, yeah, it's like a sneaky rebuild. It's just like you said, purgatory. Purgatory is a good way to put it, just like Bill said. Like it really is. It sucks to be in that situation. I don't know. At least they graded really well, for facilities, food, coaching, strength. Like you saw all that, I'm sure.
Yeah, that is important though, to make yourself a destination that's attractive to free agents. Okay, so shifting over to the combine, because I always realize every time the combine starts how much I enjoy the combine.
Yeah.
I just have always liked it. I love seeing everybody out there and competing, but it's like they're competing with themselves, but there's also the secondary competition with each other going on at the same time. You can run a 40-yard dash multiple times and you're trying to beat your own time, but then at the very end, you get put in a group and you get to see where you kind of rank among all the people in your position. So it's just a lot of fun. There's different levels of competition, and there was definitely some players today that increased their stock because of their performance. And one of those guys is Brandon Fisk out of Florida State.
Yeah.
And Florida State's defense was, I think, largely people were looking at what the hell? Jared Verse out of Florida State as one of the best pass rushers in the game. And he kind of had not a mediocre season, but it was just a little bit less than what he did last year.
Yeah.
But he was compared largely to Jalen Carter, who had not his best season his senior year, but people were still looking to, draft him really high anyway.
And you saw what he did with the Eagles too. He was up there for defensive rookie of the year.
Yeah, I think I thought he was going to win it, to be honest. I think that was my vote when we did that. But yeah, starting with Brandon Fisk. And real quick before we do this, so how does your stock go up and go down? Well, a lot of it has to do with 40-yard dash, because 40-yard dash is something that is very tangible that translates to the field. Now, there's pre-pad weight and there's football speed. So sometimes these really fast guys are much slower with pads on. And sometimes a player appears faster with pads on than he does without them. So, you have to take everything with a grain of sand here, or salt. Is it salt or sand? Can we put an end to this? Is it
salt?
It's salt for sure.
Yes.
Okay.
At least I've heard that my entire life.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about 40-yard dashes here. And I looked at a list of people that were running the fastest 40-yard dashes, including a defensive lineman that was in a 4.3. I mean, that is the kind of stuff that will really boost your stock. If you're one of these dudes that is repping 225 40 times and you're almost 300 pounds and you're running a 4.3, you're going to get drafted really high, because the combine is where you showcase that you're a freak in nature. You're not supposed to be able to run that fast if you're this high. Well, Brandon Fisk was one of those guys today. No, it wasn't a 4.3, but he had a 4.78 40 and an outstanding 4.37 second 20-yard shuttle time.
Insanity.
So those times are evidence of his quickness. He also fared well in the jumps. He had a 33.5-inch vertical, a 9'9" broad jump. Though he was a bit lighter than teams might like as an interior lineman, 292 pounds. But yeah, and he unfortunately possesses shorter arms, only 31 inches of a wingspan. But the former Western Michigan and Florida State lineman looked a bit tight in the hips during drills, but put forth the same hustle on every rep that showed during his career. They are saying that his stock is going up after today's performance. And there was a couple other guys, including Penn State's Chop Robinson, who had a really solid performance. And he was somebody I drafted in my mock draft that I did on PFF.
Yeah.
I moved back 3 times and selected him at 20, something like that.
Nice.
So yeah, we'll see how that ages. But yeah, I mean, were you able to see any of the highlights? Was there any players that I guess kind of stood out early? I know it's early and today was the first day.
So I didn't
any guys that you were like, damn, that guy looked good today.
No, I didn't really get to see anything. I will say, my day was full today. To get to
in the middle of the day.
Yeah, exactly. So it sucks because I want to be able to keep up with this stuff, but just with work and plus being on the West Coast, it's not happening, dog.
West Side.
West Side. But kind of to what you were saying with Fisk and then with Chop Robinson, how well they impressed. The guy that really a lot of people are looking at too, which is Leatu Latu.
Oh,
disappointed. He was one of the guys where that is really in competition, I guess you would call, with Robinson to be one of the first edges off the board. And he was not very good. 40-yard dash of 4.64. Vertical was only 32 inches. Broad was 9'8". So while it's like you're looking at that and you're like, well, it's kind of an inch off Fisk, or maybe it's just a little bit behind these guys. That, like, overall, you're looking at stuff like this and you're already thinking flop. Like that's what scouts, that's what execs, that's what GMs, that's what they're looking at. They're like, oh, maybe Turner and Robinson are better. Maybe Fisk is the better interior lineman, right? Something along those lines, because you talked about how does your stock go up? Like, what makes it go up? There was a guy, a lineman last year, I think he was from Northwestern, and I forget his name, but they talked about his arm length and how it wasn't an ideal arm length for an interior offensive lineman. So
he was an offensive lineman.
yeah, and that was one of the things too. It's like, well, I mean, can he block though? Like, how well did he do in college? Like, you look at that stuff as well as like his physical traits. So maybe one of the big things too is like, does your stock rise or does it fall when you don't necessarily have the physical traits? I mean, you got, I think, what, Kenny Pickett, or I think it was Kenny Pickett coming into the league, was the hand size. Yeah, he doesn't have big hands. He the hand size is huge for quarterbacks, and it's like, I mean, you could kind of see it now that he's not great, but I mean, is it all due to his hand size?
Right.
No, it's probably decision making. It's probably the speed of the NFL to him, wide receivers, all sorts of stuff. But those little physical traits that you don't necessarily pay attention to, I guess, in the real world, in the NFL world, they mean a lot. But for Latu to kind of just come in and not necessarily wow everyone at the combine, yeah, it is kind of disappointing, because even I was someone who was like, ooh, Latu, that'd be fucking sick if the Bears got another defensive edge to kind of complement Montez Sweat, with the Bears. So one of the guys that I was looking at, so a little bit disappointing. Good for him, the finest performer of the group. You already mentioned all the stats. I'm not going to go through over that again, but I mean, good for him. He was at Western Michigan. Like, Western Michigan isn't really like a huge school, and then to be able to transfer to Florida State, like, that's a great jump for him and his draft value.
Yeah, one of the guys that lost some draft value was Darius Robinson, on his 40-yard dash. I mean, he's a big guy. He's 285 pounds, and he's I think he's 6'5". But he ran almost a 5-second 40.
Oh wow!
In the agility drills, he looked really, I guess, out of place in comparison to smaller edge rushers. And most people are saying that it's likely his role is going to shift to a power defensive end, because he did show his explosiveness and his jumps and his vertical and his ability to win with power and short area quickness. And that's kind of another thing about the combine is these positions are very broad. I mean, even a defensive lineman, it's like, is he going to be an agile defensive lineman? And then he goes out into the combine and shows his explosiveness, but then he shows he doesn't have speed, and he is very powerful, but not very agile. So you're like, okay, well, we'll shift this guy to a power, power position. So there, I think that's a lot of the, like with quarterbacks not throwing. I know we like went in on that on our one, but I think quarterbacks, you kind of know what you're getting to some degree. Nobody's going to go see a quarterback throw and be like, Drake May is actually a dynamic running quarterback. We thought he was a pocket, like you have an idea, but with the linemen and
the Zach Wilson effect.
Yeah, the Zach Wilson effect. With the linemen, you can take this stuff and say, okay, now we can make a plan of how we're going to use this player should we draft him. Yeah, it's more specific than just, oh, we're drafting a defensive tackle. We're going to draft him, and he's going to play a power position on first and second down. Totally different. So those were some of the guys that went down. Was Darius Robinson, and then the one I wanted to tell you, because he went to Illinois, was Jerzon Newton.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was among the smaller defensive tackles at the combine. He's 6'1", 304 pounds. However, it's his average length that might be more of an issue for some teams. 32-inch wingspan. Keep in mind, though, Elvis Dumervil had a short wingspan, and he was only 5'11", 5'10", 5'11", and he had
Dumervil was
no,
5'11"?
No, that's what it was. Dumervil had a long wingspan, but he was short.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
But yeah, Dumervil, a lot of people don't realize he was short, but his arms were like 6'5", like a foot longer than him. So scratch that. But anyway, Newton did not run the 40-yard dash or participate in drills. He's going to wait to work out at his pro day. So I guess they're saying that his stock took a hit because he didn't perform, which whatever.
Yeah. I mean, it does become a little different though.
Or up. It's just like
whatever
they thought about him is probably what they still think.
So kind of just stayed the same as like before, right?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, it depends. I mean, if you're a guy that is coming from these smaller schools, I think you do want to show out because you're already not getting a lot of exposure. So
yeah,
you want to try to push the issue and expose yourself as much as you can. I mean, this is a player that went to Illinois. I mean, not the most popular school in the nation. So, I mean, I can see why Caleb Williams at USC doesn't feel like he has to, but maybe it's a little more noticeable when somebody from Northwestern or Illinois doesn't show up.
What was his name again?
Zerzan. So ZER apostrophe ZHAN Newton, NEWTON.
Zerzan Newton. Jerzon Newton.
Jerzan. That's what I said, right?
You said Zerzan.
No, I said Jerzan, didn't I?
You said ZER.
Oh no, I meant ZER.
Oh my god. Yeah, and you're right. Like Illinois is not one of those schools that sends a ton of prospects into the NFL. I mean, last year really they had quite a bit. I mean, you're talking about the corner for Seattle. What was his name? Witherspoon.
Yeah, Witherspoon.
Sidney and Chase Brown brothers, who are on the Bengals and the also I believe the Seahawks, if I'm not mistaken, at safety.
What are the names?
Sidney and Chase Brown. Sidney Brown is a safety. Chase Brown is a running back for the Bengals.
Okay.
Yeah, he had made a couple of appearances. And then obviously Tommy DeVito. Tommy DeVito was the quarterback for University of Illinois, and even he didn't throw a lot at the University of Illinois. So I mean, you kind of get what you see with Illinois, and you're right. But there are sometimes when you get those guys that come out of University of Illinois. Rashad Mendenhall is probably one of the most famous ones, I think, of recent memory. And kind of became famous again this past season. But yeah, I again, like you said, I don't think it took like this huge hit. I think he's probably like a second, third rounder projected, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So he's not going to be taken in the first round, or probably not like the best edge in the draft.
Right. And in those smaller schools, like bring a lot of value, and like those day 5, day 6 picks. I mean, look at Puka Nacua, out of Penn State, which isn't like it's a D1 school, but it's just sometimes there's like diamonds in the rough in these schools. I mean, absolutely. My parents, that family friend, Kevin Walter, that played for the Texans, went to Eastern Michigan, and had to kind of constantly fight his way onto a depth chart until he finally became a wide receiver too for the Texans. And that only happened because of injury to other players.
Yeah.
So yeah. So looking at some of the 40-yard dash, and real quick, Bill had a comment here about Caleb Williams.
Oh yeah.
Who he said he declined all medical exams and will not release his medical records. Is he trying to tank to his draft stock? This is interesting. This is interesting because I'm surprised this doesn't happen more with players. But I don't really feel one way or another about it. I don't think I don't think like as a owner, you need to know that this player doesn't have any serious medical conditions because it is a business decision. It's like you can't join the military if you have certain things, like
Yeah.
they're picky,
Yeah.
and that's the way it is. It's not like anybody can just become a franchise quarterback. So
Yeah.
do they have the right to know the information is kind of I guess the debate. Medical information is super personal and sensitive, so I could understand not wanting to share it. Yeah, I don't know Caleb Williams personally, so I don't know if this is
What?
like,
You don't?
well, not yet,
Oh, okay.
but I will.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay. Good.
I will. I'm gonna have him on our show soon, but
Let's go.
we'll release that later.
Yep.
Um, But yeah, it's hard to know exactly why somebody didn't. It could be out of principle, or it could be because there is something that he's hiding, or it could be the recent the recent public interest in vaccines, and it could be down that rabbit hole. I don't really know. What do you think about all that?
So I know, kind of reading the article that Bill is referring to, at least on CBS, the reason he declined the medical exams is because he did not want to do the medical exams for 32 teams. What I was getting from that report was you do the same thing 32 times. You go through the same medical exam, you go through the same questions, you go through the same this, you go through the same that. The only ones he is reported to be doing it is the teams he meets with. So I think it was like the teams he met with was the Bears, the Commanders, Raiders, Vikings, Falcons, Patriots, Jets, and Giants. So he's gonna do it for those medical guys. It's not that he's just refusing outright to do any sort of medical examination. It's that he's refusing to do it to all of the teams. All of the teams. He will not be doing the same thing 32 times, which takes, again, from the article that I read that is reported, it takes forever to do it. It's the same questions time after time after time, but he will be doing it for the teams that he meets with, and that was kind of it.
Because he's only going to end up meeting with one team, right? The Bears.
No, he met with. Well, yeah, technically, but he did meet with 8 total teams. So I guess he did it just those few times.
That's so ridiculous. I never understand why they meet with more than 2. Like,
yeah,
it's like you're not falling to 8, bro. But I understand other teams could move up.
Yeah,
but not 8. No, like, I'm sorry.
Like, hey,
if I were Caleb Williams, I would do the same thing. I would not be meeting with 8 teams. I'd be like, if you want to know anything, you can call the Bears. They know.
Yeah, and it's like, hey, Lions, you're not going to draft me.
Yeah.
Hey, Chiefs, you're not going to draft me. Hey, 49ers, you're not going to fucking draft me. You know what I mean?
Well, one thing to add, Sean Payton came out and said he would interview players that he wasn't even going to draft, so that when that player was on another team, he felt like he had an insight because he knew the player from when he interviewed him.
That's a smart coaching move. Unfortunately, Sean Payton won't get any of the medical inside information on Caleb. Look, I heard he's got family history of hip dysplasia. Let's hit that hip, baby boy. Let's hit that
Bounty gate.
So yeah, that was the reason he didn't do it. And like you said, like it makes sense to not have to do it for all the teams all the time, like throughout your day. Like that just does seem like an exhausting thing to do. So and Bill said that makes sense, so it does, it really does. It won't necessarily hurt his draft stock, but I don't know, maybe it comes off as a certain way to some teams, but also that's kind of what's been happening recently. He's making these decisions himself. He does not have an agent. It's not expected that he'll have an agent by the draft either. So these are all Caleb Williams decisions. I'm sure he's got family members that he probably talks to, and his dad, his mom, brothers, whatever, sisters, all that stuff. So, but
definitely his mom.
Definitely his mom. But yeah, I don't think it's going to hurt any sort of draft stock. Again, he's projected number 1 overall, whether it's the Bears, whether the Bears trade away the pick, whatever. He's projected number 1. So again, why would you want to do that shit 32 times when you could just do it 8 times, you know?
Yeah, I mean, why can't they just contact USC and fax it?
So, I mean, yeah, that's true, but they also do the exams. You know what I mean? Like maybe some
Oh, they want
physicians
their own doctors doing it.
exactly similar to like Sean Payton. I want to interview guys that I don't know, so when he's on another team, I have some insight. These doctors for different teams want their own insight from their own guy, which again makes sense, but also just kind of like
That was one of the reasons Sean said that he was benching Russ was so it would ensure it was about money, but it was also ensuring that he would pass the team physical if he was traded.
So he wanted that like reassurance that hey,
He's
if he
not
gets
hurt.
traded, he's not hurt. Yeah.
And the injury guarantee was going to kick in and cost like $20 million
Yeah.
this year
That whole
if he did get
situation.
hurt.
Did you
Yeah,
see the interview he did with we talked about it a little bit, but did you see that he was like, I talked to the NFLPA and they're like, that's like actually illegal that they asked you to waive that injury thing.
I was watching. I got through like 15 minutes of it. I just have a really hard time like watching anything with Russ in it. I've watched too many of his press conferences. Like it's just so cringy. I don't know what it is. I love him to death. I do. Like I hope he never changes. But I don't know if I would sit down and watch 2 hours of him. Just being totally honest.
Oh
Like
god.
he is just
Oh,
like
where's the Russ one that we had in here? The interview with him.
the
Oh,
unlimited.
no. The other one we had on here where it was like that really sad background music.
Oh, we've been through some trials and
We've
tribulations.
been through some trials and tribulations.
Oh, I think it's gone.
Oh yeah, we got it gone. Either way, yeah, no,
Either
I get
way.
it.
Either way.
That whole thing's gonna take on a life of its own. So we will definitely stand by for that. But
That's what we should click anytime we're like getting too off topic and just to
set.
Okay. All right, I'll do it. Okay, so the 2024 NFL Combine underway. So here So here are the 40-yard dash times, the fastest of all time. Okay, last year there was a player that made his way to number 5 all time. Do you know who that player was?
Last year, number 5 all time. I think
that sounded like you were typing it. Last year. All time number 5 processing.
Was he a rookie? Oh well, yeah, obviously it was a 40-yard dash.
And folks, that's going to be it for today.
I have no idea.
DJ Turner. Cornerback.
DJ Turner, cornerback, USC.
He was out of Michigan, wasn't he?
DJ Turner, cornerback, the second. Michigan, yes, Michigan.
Who drafted him? I can't remember.
Bengals in the second round.
Ooh, that's right. Okay, so number 1 is John Ross, done in 2017 with a 4.22. Apparently, all time is Walter Payton. I think Walter Payton claims he ran a 4.19.
No way.
Yeah.
That's insane.
This was before like laser times, and let me make sure it's Walter Payton. But yeah, people were like, no, it was Bo Jackson.
Bo Jackson. Okay.
Yeah, he said he ran a 4.13.
No way. That's crazy. Yeah, 4.13. Until someone produces evidence to the contrary, we can say that Bo Jackson ran the fastest pre-draft 40-yard dash in recorded history with a time of 4.13.
That's not how burden of proof works. Until somebody can prove otherwise, he ran the fastest ever. It's actually the opposite of that.
Yeah.
Until somebody can prove that he ran a 4.13.
I want to
We
see
can't
that.
say he did.
Yeah, I want to see that part. That's what I want to see is the 413 like no shit shown to me. You know what I mean? Like there's
I think
none
there's a
of this.
video of Deion Sanders saying that he, like, saw him run it, and he saw it, like saw him run and pass, and I think there was a laser at the time, and it, like, showed up on the board, 413 or something. Yeah, like,
Wow.
one of those stories, but, you
This is
know,
back in 86 though.
when a lot of I was just gonna say, when a lot of time passes, not even intentionally trying to lie, people just legitimately remember things differently than they occurred
Yeah,
over a long
true.
period of time. Like,
True.
you'll go back and think you remember a detail about something, and that detail happened, like, 2 years on the same day, and you just combined
Yeah.
it in your head. The brain, it's
It's a
crazy.
mystery. It's
It's a
literally
mystery.
the
What is consciousness?
You know what's funny? When you think of a memory, you don't actually remember the memory. You don't really actually remember the thing that happened. You are remembering the last time you remembered it. Does that
Whoa.
does that like doesn't that like
No
blow your
way.
mind? You don't think of the actual thing that happened. You think of the last time you thought.
Oh my god.
You're just memorizing a
You
memory.
yeah, wow. I can't do
That's
this.
insane. I when I read that, I was like, "What?"
But there's,
I was like, "What?"
there's this, science loving YouTube guy that I watch, and, he talks about the different type of, like, if you take half my brain and put it in your brain, or would you be you? Or at what point would you become me if if you had half of my brain?
Ooh, that's a well, I
So,
wonder well, you're thinking, right? Half of your brain, but also, like, what
what
like, you're
parts?
thinking of, like, you're saying, "What part when would I think I'm you and when would I think I'm me?" Like, it depends, like,
Like,
if
at
half
what
my
point of adding would you hit the threshold where
yeah.
you no longer are you and now
But
you are
also I
me?
think it's a visual thing, like, I'm looking at myself in the mirror, technically, it's just brain, right? So I know
Yeah,
it's me, but also my brain is saying, "Nah, you're Kyle, bitch."
right, right. Because consciousness kind of feels like you're a thing and you're looking out of a thing and you're perceiving
Mhm,
everything, but
mhm.
it's only your consciousness. So people that have consciousness, one of them's called like biblioca or something, and it's the one side of the brain doesn't work. So if you tell them to draw a picture of a horse, they'll draw a picture, and the left side of the horse won't be complete. And then when the psychologist, this is all like an experiment that was done, says, "Hey, why didn't you finish the horse?" They don't even realize they didn't because their brain imagined it being
What the
completed.
fuck?
And then instead of saying, like, anything, they deny it. It's the same thing when you tell them to lift their left hand, they lift it, lift your right hand, and then they go to and they can't. And instead of saying, tried to lift my hand and I couldn't, they say, "I couldn't hear you," or "I didn't want to." Their brain won't let them,
What
like
the fuck?
yeah, it's incredible. That's
We're
why everyone always feels like they're right, by the way.
that's why
Because
they
it's their truth, like, it's like the most
oh, yeah, that's actually tr I've heard that too. I have heard that as well. It's your truth that and that's kinda like when you think about things in the past, you're like, "No, I remember it like this," and it's like, "Nah,
yeah,
bro, that's not how it happened."
and nobody ever feels like they're wrong. When you have an opinion, everyone always feels like they're right, but,
Yeah,
of course,
mhm,
that's not the way it is.
yeah,
Sometimes you're wrong, but it's like, what does it feel like to be wrong? Most people don't know until, like, they're proven wrong, but
yeah.
nobody knows when they're right that they're wrong. Or
When
when
they're
they're
right, that they're wrong.
yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
wait, hold on, hold on.
Get fucking set!
I love the little tangent we went on though. That was good.
That was a good one. Okay, so time to move on to a team that is going to ripple effect cause the NFL to, I guess, change the whole entire draft strategy. So we know the Bears are going Caleb Williams.
Yep.
we're 99% sure. And then at number 2, Jaden Daniels to the Commanders, maybe, or it will be Drake May. But a lot of people are saying out of the Commanders that they want a mobile quarterback. That what's his name? Who took over for the Commanders?
How?
No, the head coach.
Oh,
Dan Quinn.
Dan Quinn, yes.
Dan Quinn has said that he wants a mobile quarterback. So that would link him to Jaden Daniels. And then at 3, the Patriots coming out of their building saying that they want to draft a quarterback with the number 3 overall pick, meaning the top 3 picks in the draft want a quarterback, making trades nearly impossible to occur. But they also said that they want to sit the quarterback they draft for a year and let him develop behind a all-pro, kind of like Jordan Love and Aaron Rodgers, but just for 1 year, because the words come out that Drake May needs a year to sit to be ready to go. So this all kind of lines up. Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Drake May, but who's going to be the quarterback that starts for that year? It's not going to be Drake May.
Yeah.
It could be Russell Wilson.
Oh, Russ. I was thinking Kirk Cousins.
Oh, that's a great guess too. Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, Kirk Cousins is definitely, at least to me, one of those guys that would work. I think would work well in that system. And I was going to say the Bill Belichick system, but obviously that's not the thing anymore. It's Gerard Mayo. Yeah, it's Gerard Mayo now, obviously. But I think he would work well in New England. There are some pieces there that they have. Oh God, I forget the wide receiver that they had that was doing really, really well before he got hurt for the rest of the season in New England, but he was doing really well. So Kirk Cousins, I think, I mean, and when you look at that too, when you're saying, it's coming out of New England, they're saying, hey, Drake May is a guy, but he's going to sit a year, like guaranteed. Why wouldn't you want your hopefully future franchise quarterback to not sit behind a just straight up professional Kohl's shopping, professional, super confident Kirk Cousins? Like
Russell Wilson too feels like he was born to be a Patriot.
Kyle just wants to get rid of him.
I don't. I really don't mind if we run it back with him. Like I'm not going to be mad. I don't think it's going to happen because
Kyle's like, if we run it back with Russ, I will sit through those post game interviews. I will.
I will, and I'll do it. so I can't stop. I'm addicted.
You're a dick, yeah.
So. No, Sean literally said that there was a Bronco fan wearing a T-shirt and it said Simeon. It had every quarterback that we've gone with, Flacco, and it was 10 different quarterbacks with a line through them.
Yep.
And the last one said Wilson. It had a line through it. And then Sean brought that up in his combine press conference saying, he said, I saw the meme. It was funny, but we got to make sure the next guy that we draft doesn't have a line through it.
Yeah, the next guy.
So he didn't say anything about Russ having a line through his name and said exactly the next guy we draft.
Yep.
We want to make sure. So I mean, that's why it's like Russ will be on another team. And there's only a couple that make sense. And the Patriots definitely are one of them. Kirk Cousins, though, is a really, I feel just as good saying that as Russ. Anybody else? Bill said Jacoby Brissett. What do you think about Jacoby Brissett?
I mean, he's not a bad guy to Jacoby Brissett, the way he's kind of handled.
Want it.
I mean, I don't really care. I don't really care about the Patriots, if we're being honest. I don't even really give a shit. Like, fucking throw Jacoby Brissett back there. Cool. I don't care.
Tyrod Taylor.
What's
Why
that?
not? Tyrod Taylor. He was the best player on the Giants offense last year. PFF
would you? Bill's probably like, fuck you. Would you? But who would you rather have? Jacoby Brissett, who was with the Patriots, who was with the Browns, who has been in situations where they're like, hey, we need you to lead this team, and is kind of and has performed, or a Tyrod Taylor who really hasn't performed except really last year with the Giants. He looked decent. He wasn't a crazy quarterback, but Jacoby Brissett at least has had a ton of start time and has performed pretty well in those starts.
I'd rather have Teddy Bridgewater.
I'd rather have Tom Brady.
Bridgewater, because it's the same concept. You're trying to find a guy that's affordable, that understands he's a bridge quarterback, doesn't have an ego that's going to complicate that dynamic in any way.
Yeah.
And also, he has the most starting time, and he's a professional. His 1 year with us as a starting quarterback, he won the Demaryius Thomas Award, which goes to like outstanding people in the locker room. So that's the kind of person Teddy Bridgewater is. So I think, honestly, Tyrod Taylor, Teddy Bridgewater, Jacoby Brissett, all those guys, I think would kind of fit the plan. Whereas Russ and Kirk Cousins, you're looking into a longer term commitment. And if the Patriots aren't willing to make that, I don't think that Russell Wilson or Kirk Cousins would be willing to go to a place for 1 year and then just restart the move. Like, these people have families and shit. Like, they're not going to just move around the country like journeyman quarterbacks when there were, Russell Wilson's been top 10 for so long. Like, he can't just move into that mental state. He said he wants to win 2 more rings. Like,
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be ultimately what makes it complicated, though, for the Patriots to get Kirk Cousins and Russell Wilson. So yeah, it's probably going to end up being somebody like the guys we mentioned after.
Yeah, a Jacoby, a Tyrod, what would you just say, Bridgewater?
Teddy Bridgewater, yeah.
Maybe, like, I'm trying to think of, because Washington, the Commanders were also talking about, or at least fielding offers for Howell. So
yeah,
I mean, Howell has only had 1 year starting. So I don't know if the veteran presence is there, but if you're the Patriots, but you'd also have to trade. And I don't think the Patriots are into getting a quarterback through a trade.
You could probably get Sam Howell for
like a fourth rounder?
Fifth, probably.
Fourth,
I think
fifth?
they drafted him in the 5th, so I think they would be okay with a straight up exchange. But yeah, I mean, some of these trades, and it could be like next year's 5th. It doesn't even have to be this year. So
yeah, because I was gonna say, if you're the Patriots too, you wanna probably store as many draft picks as you can, because if you're gonna get Drake May, you want to surround him with as many weapons that can possibly produce in the future.
But you wouldn't want Sam Howell, because if you're gonna go with Sam Howell, you might as well go with Drake May.
No. That's what I mean. Like I don't think they'd want to make that trade for picks for Sam Howell. Like, yes, he could. Yes, Sam Howell could probably, what he was doing earlier, early in the season was throw for 300 plus yards and a few touchdowns. He was getting sacked. He was throwing interceptions, sure, but I mean, at least it was exciting, even like a Mullins from the Vikings too, right? Like, at least they were making shit exciting.
Yeah, my ex-wife used to throw my flat screens down 2 flights of stairs, but at least it was exciting.
I think it's a little different, but
sure, you used to throw 4 picks in a game, but at least it was fun.
But I get, and there's really, but with Russ and Kirk Cousins, though, that's true. Why wouldn't Kirk Cousins or Russell Wilson want to go somewhere where they do have an opportunity to win? Those guys are probably way more built to win than a Jacoby Brissett, a Taylor, any of those other guys, even a fucking Sam Howell. But I just don't know where else they would land. Where else can you see Kirk Cousins or Russell Wilson?
Yeah, Atlanta.
Atlanta's taking Fields.
I think Denver's taking Fields and Atlanta's getting Russ. But I could see it being switched. And then you got this thing going on in Seattle that we have to monitor with Geno and the contract. Yeah. That's kind of an interesting situation. And then Kyler Murray's on a prove it year. So that'll be interesting to see if Russell Wilson maybe could end up being a Cardinal, being in the division of the ones the Seahawks.
I can't see that. I really can't.
Yeah, the Colts with Anthony Richardson.
Yeah.
Still don't know what they have there. If that doesn't work out this year, maybe they're looking for a quarterback.
I was gonna say maybe Tennessee, but they have Will Levis there already, and he's probably going to be their starter.
I don't. Is he?
I think he is. I think he did more than enough last year, and especially when you're going through a transition with a brand new coach, brand new offensive coordinator, like you still have, what's his name, Hopkins there.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna.
The owners group said they would keep him.
Exactly. So I don't see them not going with Levis unless they also want to bring in a veteran just to kind of get that quarterback competition like we have seen in the past. You know what I mean? Like I think that's a good thing to do, but I cannot see Kirk Cousins or Russ Wilson going there because again, Russ Wilson has hopes of winning 2 more rings, and Kirk Cousins is a pretty damn solid quarterback that can get your team to the playoffs if need be. If you have the weapons, of course, around him.
Maybe he'll be a Bronco.
In the offensive line. Oh, how would you feel about Kirk Cousins as a Bronco? Would automatic upgrade or what?
Yeah, it's an automatic upgrade. It's not good enough, but it's like, well, we could win 10 games with this guy. I mean, Sean Payton would squeeze the most out of him.
Yeah.
And keep in mind, Omar Khan, the Steelers general manager today, said, I have full faith in Kenny Pickett. And he said
I don't know why he said that. I don't know why he said that.
He said, I have full faith in Kenny Pickett. Obviously, there's some issues with the offense, and I'm excited about the impact that Arthur Smith is going to have on him. Arthur Smith is the Steelers OC?
I think so now, yeah. Remember, he got fired from Atlanta, so now he's the OC there.
I didn't know he got a new job yet.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the Steelers hired Smith as their new offensive coordinator with the goal of resolving what wasn't working under Matt Canada.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, that is so dumb. Oh my God.
Do they have Kohl's Cash in Denver?
Yeah, they do. I was at a Kohl's in downtown Denver.
What were you saying about
that was Target? That was a Target. Never mind. Probably not. I think Kohl's is a Midwest thing.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
Because I remember when I moved to Florida, they built a Kohl's in Jacksonville, and I was like, "They built a Kohl's," and
this shit's gonna get lit.
My mom's a huge fan.
Yeah,
she has Kohl's Cash and all that.
Love it. Yeah,
and everyone in Florida is like, "Kohl's? What's a Kohl's?
What the fuck is this shit?
What is Kohl's?
Where's our Publix? Where's our chicken tender sandwich?
Where's our chicken tender sandwich with that lemonade and that sweet tea?" But yeah, that is something that he said, and
it's insane.
He said, but we're open to having, okay, but that's what I was saying. Like, you had all these weapons in Atlanta, Kyle Pitts, Drake London, 3 star running backs, and this team was one of the just worst offenses to watch. Yeah. And then the Steelers were like, I think he'll be a good fit in our system.
But also, how much do you think that was on? Because yes, I agree. The whole let's not use Bijan Robinson bullshit from Arthur Smith was dumb as fuck. But do you think also with the passing game, do you think that would have to do more with Arthur Smith or with fucking the quarterback situation they had there?
Well, the quarterback situation was pretty bad, but
it was bad.
It's not good in Pittsburgh either.
You're right, yeah. But yeah, that's true. But they have a much better 1 and 2 running back with Warren and Najee.
Oh no, Bijan and Tyler Algier and Cordell Patterson.
You think they're better than?
I would take Bijan. And I would take Bijan and Tyler Algier over Warren and Najee Harris. I would do it right now.
I can see
BJ's a top 2-3 running back.
If you had Bijan and Warren,
15.
if you had Bijan and Warren 1 and 2, that's probably a very ideal type of running back room you want, because Bijan could probably light it the fuck up, downhill runner, and Warren can be sick in the pass game and bust out for like a set. What was it, a 70-yard run that he had or something in throughout the season?
Yeah.
Like, I think I get Najee, like he had his good rookie year and then he's kind of flopped since, but he had a little bit of a reemergence. So I think maybe Arthur Smith might play with that. And then you've got, Tomlin there, who's, we fired Matt Canada last year, dude. We've never done that. If you start fucking up this offense, we will do it to you too.
Yeah, I'm wondering what, I know the Bears averaged the most rushing yards per game, right? Or number 2.
Number 2, and it was the Cleveland Browns, I think, above them.
And Atlanta was number 8. Yeah, it was the Ravens at 1.
Yeah, or the Ravens. Sorry, not the Browns.
But yeah, Atlanta at number 8. But Pittsburgh was at 11.
So I mean, maybe the running game is maybe like something about Arthur Smith's type of, I don't know, but the quarterback situation
in 2022.
The quarterback situation in Pittsburgh, though, they got to fix that too. Like, is Kenny Pickett actually the guy? Can he actually stay healthy too? You know what I mean? Can he get it to Deontay?
Guy. Okay, you think he's? Do you think he's
tough
the guy?
Some bitch though.
Kenny Pickett?
Kenny Pickett is a tough son bitch. I saw him fighting like his rookie year with some people. Like, he was getting people's faces and shit. He's a tough son bitch.
Those are some tough bitches.
Those are some tough bitches.
Well, okay, so that was the big news coming out of New England, because it is going to affect, and I mentioned this before, like, you got your teams that need a quarterback. Denver's at 12, but if they draft, a lot of people feel that Bo Nix and JJ McCarthy, if they draft him around 12, that it's an overreach, but they don't have a second round draft pick.
Yes.
And they're not going to be available in the third. So do you overreach and draft a quarterback too high because you need a quarterback? Or do you just accept that this isn't going to work out in your best interest and you're going to ultimately overreach by doing that? And you just draft, let's say, the best corner in the draft, Teron Arnold.
Armstead? Or Arnold? Okay.
Out of Alabama to pair with Surtain and be like, okay, well, whatever's best for the team, I think needs to happen. If Sean feels that JJ McCarthy's not a reach and he doesn't care about the projections and he's like, no, like this guy's one of the best, then all right, so be it. But if we're going to look back in 3 years and still be looking for a quarterback, I would rather us have Patrick Surtain, on our team.
Yeah.
Like, as much shit as I gave Denver for not drafting Fields and getting Surtain worked out pretty well.
He did. And Fields, I mean, again, with the situation that happened with the Bears, kind of tough to evaluate, but Surtain definitely worked out. I don't know, man. It just seems like, did you guys trade your first round pick for next year? Are you guys going to have that?
Did we trade our first round pick for next year?
What was the Russ Wilson trade? Was it the first last year and?
Oh yeah, the last year and the year before.
And the year before. Okay. So, man, it's tough because do you, like you said, do you pass on a JJ McCarthy or a Nix or a Penix and try to draft the best player available that will make the team better really overall? Or do you take a swing at one of these guys at quarterback and hope that maybe they can do it? So what do you think about, though? Let's say they do take a quarterback. Let's say they do take McCarthy or Bo Nix, which is, I think, the two that really is projected to go to Denver if they were to pick a quarterback.
Yeah.
You're guaranteed maybe like a really rough year, right? Or he might surprise CJ Stroud wise. Would you rather run that risk of, hey, we might have a CJ Stroud type of quarterback in his first year, and if not, we're probably going to have a top 10 pick next year? Like, are you willing to do that? I guess if you're the GM, if you're the team.
No, because I guess I really do feel like the floor for Sean because I believe in him as an offensive coach and just a coach in general. I think our floor is like 8-9 games, so you're going to still be picking around 12, probably no matter who you get. The only thing is, do you believe Bo Nix is even going to work out at the NFL level? And I don't know if his numbers were great, but we've seen Pac-12 quarterbacks have great numbers, and then kind of Marcus Mariota in the NFL.
Yeah.
Maybe get like 1 or 2 good seasons, but I mean, who's the last quarterback to come out of Oregon that really you were like, this guy? But then again, like, you could do that with any college. You could go around. I mean, like Clemson has one.
Mahomes
Tennessee has one. Yeah, Mahomes. You could go down. It's like, it's very rare for 2 great quarterbacks to come from the same college in the NFL.
I mean, Josh Allen, Wyoming, like what?
Yeah, exactly. Jay Cutler, Vanderbilt,
like you got these random motherfuckers. So it can be like a really, I mean, we all know the draft is more so like, if we're talking quarterbacks, wide receivers, maybe in the offense, really, like maybe it is a crapshoot. But a lot of these guys now, I feel like when we've talked about this and have said this several times, they are way more NFL ready than they have been, 20 years prior,
Especially the corner. I mean, really every position. So yeah, when you have that logic in your head, it's like, if Denver drafts a quarterback and they're going to be 8 and 9, we're going to be drafting at 12. So we might as well just stick with Russ and ultimately end up at 8 and 9, but add a defensive player like another shutdown corner. And then next year you can address the quarterback thing again. But like, it's all about having something that remains, right? As we go through the years, what are we going to do to make sure that our first round draft picks remain and make an impact? It's the only way to really get out of this, is to stop reaching and just make sure whoever you take is going to make an impact long term on the team. And it's hard because there's a lot of pressure to go out and get a quarterback.
Yeah.
And it's just, but what is there, maybe 1 or 2 that work out max in every draft?
I mean, yeah, for the most part, really, yeah.
It's like 1 or 2 guys. So I mean, and the chances of that 1 or 2 being within the top 3 is probably really high.
And also, I mean, the Broncos are going to pay Russ. Like, they're going to pay Russ. Like,
anyway.
They're going to pay him anyway. They're going to pay him tens of millions of dollars. So why not, like you said, run it back with Russ, unless you get some sort of deal you can do, right? Like, I don't know. It's just Sean Payton, the whole thing going on over there. Like, you trust Sean Payton, so you want to go with what he says, but it's like, damn, the money is like already going to him. Why not, like you said, get the best player you can with the 12th pick, and the next draft, let's see if we are a top tier team, something that, like you said, had a floor of 9 wins. Shit, maybe you overshoot that, get 12. You know what I mean? Like, now you're in the playoffs and you got the best cornerback, or you got the best edge rusher, or something to that nature in this past draft. And now you're looking forward to the next draft where Russ is actually playing well and you have 2 shutdown corners on each end. So it's such a, dude, we're asking ourselves these questions and I'm over here like, imagine being a fucking GM and an owner of an entire organization.
I already released my plan. I had a great draft.
Yeah. Kyle already got an A+ from Bleacher Report or whatever. For
I gained 9. Well, dude, funny enough, everyone's been releasing them now on Broncos Twitter, and I haven't seen anyone else get an A. In any
really?
Nobody. I'm not just saying this. Like, look at all of the ones you'll see on Twitter. There are like C's and some B's, but I haven't seen a single A.
And that's that you traded for Fields in that scenario, right?
No, it's so every trade and pick you make gets graded, and then at the end they add it all together and give you an overall grade of how you did on the draft.
Oh, okay.
So
But did it? But was
I traded for Fields to start the draft.
Oh, okay. The 12th pick, or was it a second
Nope,
rounder?
I gave a second rounder in next year's draft, so I didn't even go into our picks. And then when we
Oh,
were at
wow.
12, I moved back to 13 and got 2 picks, and then at 13, I moved back to 20 and got, like, 4 picks, and then at 20, I got, Chop Robinson, and then I drafted immediately after because I
Mm.
used all those picks to trade back up and got Arnold, the cornerback out of
Teron
Alabama.
Arnold.
And it was just a lot of, like, moving around and drafting, and
Yeah.
it was so much fun. It took, like, 2 hours. Like,
Oh, really?
it goes through all the others really quick, but you can slow it down if you wanna make trades and stuff. It's so much fun.
Ah,
It's so
okay.
much fun. I think everyone should do it. It's like Madden, but even more realistic.
And you did
Uh,
that on where exactly? What website?
PFF,
Oh,
PFF.com.
PFF. Okay. Okay.
So there was something that was kind of notable. The NFL's testing optical tracking devices for line to gain rulings during the 2023 season. So the days of the
Ooh.
chain gang measuring first downs in the NFL could soon be numbered. The league
Oh,
is
shit.
testing optical tracking in 2 stadiums this past season and during the Super Bowl at Las Vegas Allegiant Stadium for line to gain rulings. This was going on all of last season. I didn't even realize this. This was reported
Yeah,
by
me
Tom
neither.
Pelissero today. So Pelissero reported the technology is not expected to be ready to be used during the 2024 season, and it would require a vote from ownership to be implemented. The use of a metal chain to determine first downs has been a league staple throughout the history of the sport, but its usage has been under scrutiny as technology has advanced.
Mhm.
Rick, there's like a part of me that feels nostalgic about the chains. Um, but there's a part that it does feel like an outdated technology, but it's just one of those. I mean, it's one of those like things like in the NFL that chains,
Mhm.
touchdown,
Mhm.
goalpost,
Mhm.
the football.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
it seems like one of these really important things. I almost want the NFL to bring in this technology and to still have the chains out there.
Here's here's what I want. Here's what I want. I want the chains to still be out there. I fucking love seeing the chains come out for a measurement. Oh, here comes the guys, right? Here comes the
Yeah.
guys. Is it going to be long enough? Did they get the first down? What I want the NFL and these refs to fucking do is get the spots correctly and to implement cameras and to implement the replays. That's what I want. Do not get rid of the chain gang. The chain gang is like how you said, there's a little bit of nostalgia there. You love to see it. And some of the most exciting things is like, did the quarterback get the first down on this quarterback sneak? Did the tush push work? Did Josh Allen extend the ball long enough over right the first down goal to do it? Let's get the chain gang out. They just need better spots. Like how many times during the season while we were streaming not only like Sunday games, but Sunday night, Monday night, Thursday night games where everyone was watching, and all through X, you see that was a bad spot. That spot was shit. What are these refs doing? That's what they need to get right is the spotting of the ball. That is because there's been times where we're like, wait, the ball is literally back an extra half yard than where he actually got it to. You know what I mean? So it's like
Yeah.
they
It's
need
the
to
spot. Use the technology for the spot and then bring the
exactly.
chains out.
Exactly. Like use that part of the technology to help you guys out because whatever you're doing now sucks. Like don't get rid of the chain gang. It's an awesome feeling for them to run out and look to see if we got a first down. And
Put
this
the
is that I have the
GPS
ref hat on.
or yeah, put the GPS in the sticks. So if you're not standing at the exact right spot, you don't get a green check.
True. I mean, yeah, maybe
I
something
mean,
like that.
just
I
like
love seeing the chain gang run out though for the
yeah,
first
yeah.
downs. I love
No,
it. It's
you can't
awesome.
take it. You
Yeah,
can't take the chain game.
you cannot.
Jacksonville, when I was a kid, my first NFL game was in Jacksonville, and in the early 2000s, going into 2010, they had this thing where this chant they would do, and our buddy Mark in the Navy, he's a Jags fan, and I did the chant, and he had
Mhm.
no idea what I was talking about.
Oh,
And
really?
I was like, "This is what Jag fans do," and I had to go find, like, an old YouTube video from 2000 to show him, but it's, every time they got a first down, they would go, "That's good for Jacksonville, first down. Move those chains, move those chains, move those chains, move them."
Really? Oh, that's
That
cool.
was, like, their thing, and it
Oh,
was
that's fucking
awesome.
cool.
They had
You know,
shirts and everything that was like, "Move the chains."
speaking of like little things that NFL franchises do, I think what I'm gonna do this upcoming season is go down to a Seattle Seahawks what do you call it before the game? Tailgate.
Tailgate?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. I think I'm gonna do a tailgate and whatever team they're playing, I think I'm gonna do the same for them. Be like, hey, what are some cool little things, some niche things that I don't know, the 49ers do? What are some
Yeah.
niche things that the Seahawks do? You know, shit like
Yeah. The, the the games and the tailgate experiences I've had at different stadiums have all been awesome besides Seattle. Seattle was
really?
Seattle was the only like, the in-game experience, top tier, top
Yeah.
tier. But just talking about the tailgate and the logistics of going to the game, very difficult. First off, like, you just have to there's no tailgate. There's no, like, "Hey, this is the area where all the people, like, gather." There's that road with
Oh,
all the bars that you can
yeah.
try to find parking, but like, and that's the other thing, there's not, like, parking garages and stuff, like, you just, like, park wherever you can. So, I don't know, part of it feels like you're kinda lost in the city, just like, "Oh, I need to find just anywhere to park," and then depending on where you park, like, you have to walk. Like, in Denver,
Yeah.
like, the light rail goes from the airport, from Denver, there is a mile-high field, like, drop off,
Stop.
and then there's, like,
Oh,
20 acres of a party that you land into.
that's dope, dude.
And
That is
yeah,
dope.
and there's, like, drummers and,
Yeah.
like, giant statues, like, Denver, their tailgates are, like people dedicate their whole life to the tailgating,
Mhm.
and it's
See
like they have
that
these buses, and it's insane. It's
like that
incredible.
would be awesome to kind of just like make into like its own little like series almost like like hey, here's the for example, here's the Tennessee Titans tailgate experience.
That
Here's
would
the
be awesome.
yeah, Seattle Seahawks experience. Here's the Bears experience. Here's the Broncos experience. And just to get like a quick like I don't know, 10-minute
Titans would be
video.
more country music because it's
Yeah.
Nashville. Like,
Mhm.
every place would have its, like, niche.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it would be sick. So, hey, if whoever's listening, that might be something we do. I think for Seattle, at least for me, I think that might be something cool to do,
Yeah,
on
we
my
also
end.
have to go to a Broncos and Bears game at some point.
Yeah, we do. I think you know what would work the best because we both love watching our team so much is like, hey, we're gonna go to the Bears game on the Broncos bye week, and we're gonna go to the Broncos
Ooh,
game on the Bears bye
that's
week. You know what I
perfect.
mean? I think that'd be
And
sick.
then and then you hopefully they're both home games for
Yeah,
each team.
yeah. Hopefully it does work out. Could you imagine though? Like,
That would
woo,
be awesome.
that'd be dope. That would be fucking dope. Speaking of the Bears though, some odds came out earlier today about Justin Fields. And there was also a Twitter video. I don't know if you saw this X video of Justin Fields kind of jumping up, celebrating a bit. In like his kitchen, it seems like, or his parents' kitchen, talking
Oh,
about,
wow.
yeah, like someone in the background said, "You ready to go home?" And he was very excited. And there's been odds placed on the Atlanta
No.
Falcons being the front runners to get Justin Fields. This was over the last
No.
today and yesterday.
Who
So
said, "Are you ready to go home"? Was it his
it
agent?
so I don't know if it was his agent or just someone in the background, a family member, but there was a video posted to X that said that has him jumping up and down with his phone in his hand, I believe. And he's kind of happy and he's like, yes, let's go. Something like that,
Uh-oh.
right? And there's someone in the background saying, "Are you ready to go home?" It's like towards the very end of the video. So you get just that little snippet of it.
Was it
And
posted on accident, do you think?
no, his agent posted it. Like his agent did post it,
Oh,
but I
so
just
it's
don't know
like
if his
they're
agent.
trying there's a game being played, and
There's a game behind the game.
what is the game?
That's what I'm
It's
saying, man.
like
So
we are supposed what is the goal of the game? That's what I want to know. Like,
I don't know.
what are they trying to get us to think? And what is our thought supposed to do ultimately?
And that's why
It's confusing.
and that's why what was I gonna say? Damn, I just lost
Sorry.
it. Like,
I'm
no,
trying
you're good.
because it does seem like okay, that's why I was asking because I didn't see the video. If it was like you heard it, but the video you're not supposed to hear it. But if it's like clearly part of the video and his agent posted it, then
Hmm.
that's different.
Hmm.
That's like okay, there's a game being played there. It's not like
Yeah.
Fields made a mistake and it was
And
like, dude, we can hear and then
yeah.
deleted or
And
something.
this was after he went on the St. Brown Brothers podcast. I forget what it's called. Amon Ra and
Oh, that's awesome.
Equinemius St. Brown. And he was like, yeah, man, I would love to stay in Chicago. You know, the city's lit, this and that. The fans are good. And then the next couple days, it's like Atlanta's odds of getting him went up. That Vegas is usually right about this shit, guys. Let's be real. The house does not lose, and Vegas is not losing. So when
Yeah.
they say that the front runners at minus 450 are the Atlanta Falcons, followed by plus 200 the Bears,
Well,
he's going to Atlanta.
here's the thing. People say that the house doesn't lose, pointing to the best odds mean that that's what's going to happen because the house
Yeah,
doesn't lose.
yeah,
But what really goes on in betting is that the house doesn't lose because they convince people to take the best odds and to bet all their money on it, knowing that that's not really the best odds. So, like, sometimes the odds are actually like tilted a certain way to get a
hmm,
reaction out of people, but there's a game being played behind the scenes. Same
agreed.
thing happens with the NFL MVP. The odds were like really high on coach of the year for D'Amico Ryans, and
Hmm.
then number 2 was um from the Colts, or no, from the Browns, I believe.
Steichen? Oh, yeah.
And then who ended up winning coach of the year?
It was Stefanski.
Stefanski.
Yeah.
So it's sometimes they're right and sometimes they're wrong. Like I wouldn't necessarily look at that and be like they're definitely going because they may be just like
Yeah.
knowing the public is gonna financially back this because of the video, and if it
Yep.
doesn't happen, then the house gets all of that money. Um, but what do you think? Like, do you think it makes sense? I mean, I didn't see the video, but if Fields like if it all felt real, you're probably right about that.
So yeah, and yeah, it did. I
I'm
saw the
gonna
video. It
deep
was like a
puke really
quick.
quick.
It was like a quick 15-second clip. So was it? I mean, the emotion looked real. Like with Fields jumping up and down the way he did, the emotion looked real. It felt real. You had somebody in the background going, "Are you ready to go home?" So like, again, this could mean a lot of things. And, you know, his agent posting it, Raheem Morris during the NFL Combine saying, hey, we need to get a guy who fits the system, who fits this city. I think that was the quote, the exact quote from Raheem Morris, new coach of the Falcons, saying someone to fit this city. Like Fields fits the city. He's from Atlanta. He was born in Atlanta. He was born and raised there. So Fields going to Atlanta, I again, to me, Vegas isn't wrong in this stuff, right? Like we can talk about the award shows and voting and stuff like that. Like, sure, Vegas got that one wrong about Stefanski and D'Amico Ryans, but I think when it's something that changes every day, like where's Fields going? Is he getting traded to the Steelers, who also were high up on that list of him going there? With Atlanta being kind of the front runners, and obviously the Desmond Ritter Heineke situation going on there, their whole quarterback situation is kind of fucked. They got a Bijan Robinson who's a beast. They got a Drake London and a Kyle Pitts who are also offensive weapons. They just got a brand new head coach, brand new staff. They are trying to go up because they won some games last year and they were very much in it for the AFC or NFC South crown. Maybe a new head coach, maybe a dynamic quarterback like Fields. I mean, what more would you want, right? Like you already have a bunch of offensive weapons. Your offensive line, maybe not the best, but definitely not the worst. I mean, Fields has been one of the most sacked quarterbacks since he started, a game with the Bears. So I don't know. To me, this whole Atlanta Falcons Fields going there, taking a trade from the Bears, maybe a second rounder. maybe a first, although I don't think the Atlanta Falcons would give up a first for Fields. They would probably keep their first and maybe add around Fields if that is the case, maybe a second rounder, right? Because that really should be the price for Fields, is a second round pick. So again, I'm gonna, if I were a betting man, I think Falcons are going to end up with Fields. And really, if the Falcons don't end up with Fields, he stays a Bear. He really does stay a Bear in my eyes right now. But the Bears, I still think, get Caleb Williams at quarterback. No matter what Fields says, no matter what DJ Moore says, you know what I mean? Ryan Poles was already talking about, if we were to get rid of Fields, we'd want to put him in a great situation. You've already got that plan in place. I think that's a pretty good sign. And a lot of people think the same.
Well, I hope that you guys trade the pick personally, because you could get 3 first-round picks.
Oh God, I don't know what to do, man.
Dude, what just happened with the Panthers is why you're here, and you could do that 3 more times.
I know,
you could always be one step ahead and manipulate teams for the course of history.
But like, also,
you always trade it.
Well, sure, but how much longer do we have that? We traded to the Broncos, right? Like,
yeah,
right. But are you guys gonna suck ass like the Panthers did? No, we're never gonna get
3 of them. Like, there's a chance that one of those years you're gonna suck ass.
Sure, but like, not
and then
Panthers
teams
suck ass.
So let's say that you traded with the Broncos and they sucked ass next year. You would have a really high pick, and Justin Fields didn't pan out, let's say. So you would have 2 high picks next year. You still have the 2025 and 26 first rounder. And then what you could do is, if Fields is working out, then the Broncos pick you could trade to another team that needs a quarterback, because you wouldn't. And then you're constantly... with 2 first-round picks, you can constantly try to...
I just think at one point you have to make a pick. Like, you can't keep trading it.
Fields, he's your guy.
Kyle wants Fields to work out so bad for the Bears.
Look, she got you a jersey, man. She got you a jersey.
And again, that's the only reason I wanted to work out, is so I could wear that jersey. But
dude, tell me about it. I made an investment of 15 Russell Wilson jerseys. And I can't sell one of them. I don't know what to do with these things, man.
Oh, Kyle spent
I'm not kidding.
$3.7 million on Russell Wilson jerseys.
I was trying to start a business. I was trying to start a jersey business, and I couldn't sell any.
I was like, I'm about to be a better jersey seller than the NFL.com store, motherfucker.
I was like, well, I highly misjudged the market on this one. Russ got traded, and I was like, let's get ahead of the curve here.
I mean, I don't think you're wrong for doing that either. I mean, that's like a franchise, moving pick almost, like a franchise altering pick. Yeah. So I don't think you were wrong to do that.
We're just going to have a lot of jerseys to give out here on Only Football next year.
Oh, that's going to be good. I just, again, man, I think at one point or the other, you have to take that leap. And if Caleb Williams is going to be the guy that everybody's saying he is, why not? Why not go for it? Like, if Ryan Poles has made the moves he's already made in the 2 seasons that he's been a general manager, like, he's good. He should be good. Like, he should be solid. So if Caleb Williams doesn't pan out, okay, well, I mean, at least you reset your quarterback. At least you have 3 years to really see if Caleb Williams pans out. And if not, I mean, you're probably in for a pretty high draft pick again, and we get to reset again. So I'm going to stand firm with what I've been saying since, I don't know, maybe like the last third of the season, is like, I trust what Ryan Poles is doing, and whatever way he wants to go, I think that's the way we have to go as Bears fans. You're going to be mad if they don't keep Fields. You're going to be mad if they do keep Fields. Just fucking go with the flow at this point, because the way it's been going with quarterbacks and the Bears, like, we might just end up ruining Caleb Williams also. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It just seems to be the curse for our 85 defense and Walter Payton. I don't know. Like, it's like, hey, you guys want this really sick defense and a Hall of Fame top running back in the NFL? Okay, you guys are going to suck for 40 straight years.
Like the Babe Ruth trade.
Boob.
The great Bambino.
Yeah, exactly. And then they finally won it in 2004. And even
thanks
the Cubs.
To Jimmy Fallon.
Thanks to Jimmy Fallon and Drew Barrymore.
You see the go ahead.
I was going to say, even the Cubs with their 108-year stretch. So, yeah.
Yeah. In Denver with Manning.
I don't want to hear that.
You will always pay.
You had not even 2 decades of shittiness. I don't want to hear it.
It sucks.
It still sucks.
Yeah. J.K. Dobbins, who really emerged as one of the top running backs in the league this year, posted a video on social media today where he is shown doing wind sprints just 5.5 months after having surgery to fix his torn Achilles in week 1. So that's great news. I don't know if you heard the Broncos announced the hiring of Jamar Cain. Jamar Cain is going to be their new defensive line coach. He was at LSU. Ooh. Just nice to see Denver hire a coach that wasn't a saint.
I will say, sorry, real quick. I will say about J.K. Dobbins. You know, obviously he's had some really rough last couple seasons with injuries and stuff. I think the GM for the Ravens or the head coach, one of them is like, we need to keep J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards. So I don't know how true those words are about J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards, but that's kind of what's come out. Do you keep? You had a great rushing game as the Ravens, like with Gus Edwards, Justice Hill, and a couple other guys. I mean, you had Dalvin Cook in the playoffs with you. So with J.K. Dobbins' fucking injury history, though, and Melvin Gordon for a bit there, like with J.K. Dobbins' injury history, though, like, do you want to bring back J.K. Dobbins, or do you stick with like, hey, let's just re-sign Gus Edwards since he was a pretty much a beast?
I think you want to re-sign him. Well, he's not up. Wait, is he a free agent?
I mean, I think this might be like an option type of thing.
If he's yeah,
I'll double check.
Okay, yeah, because it's hard to say without knowing. Because if it's a 5th-year option thing, then yeah, I guess you could roll with him one more year. But man, the Ravens, everything they do is going to be
free agency.
Is he a free agent?
Yeah.
Everything they do is going to be interesting because you had this great team, you won all these games, and then it wasn't good enough, and now you got to start getting rid of players, and that's supposed to make fans think that they're going to win. I don't get it. Like they're where Buffalo is, kind of.
In terms of like running game, or just like
it's like we're not good enough to win a Super Bowl or go, and we don't know what we can do to be better.
Yeah. It sucks.
Which is worse than being bad.
Do you think that's worse than like a purgatory though, type of thing, like a Viking situation?
No, it's not. Where like it. I don't know. Like I was telling my uncle this yesterday. We were watching basketball, the Lakers and Clippers. We were talking about how if you can go to the playoffs every year and even the finals, we were talking about the Heat. And even though you don't win all the time, it's still like there's only a handful of teams that get to be relevant every year. Yeah. And if you get to be one of those teams, that is pretty rewarding for a fan.
Yeah.
Just to be, but eventually it doesn't matter because your expectations go up when the team is performing well. So then you feel just as let down when they lose in the conference championship game as the other fans do when they miss the playoffs. It's like, it's all relative. The pain we feel is all relative. And really the only thing that matters is winning a Super Bowl. But in hindsight, you can look back and say, even though we didn't win the Super Bowl, these were fun years, right? And nobody does that about a losing season.
but like, I don't know, man, because we look back at the Bills, who in the 90s made it to 4 straight Super Bowls and lost 4 straight Super Bowls. Like, they had a ton, they had quite a few Hall of Famers off those teams, but like you never won it. And it's like the dynasty that never was. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like if the Patriots throughout the 20-year history of Belichick and Brady had not won a Super Bowl. It's like, yes, that's way more than 4 Super Bowls in a row in the 90s, and like the Buffalo Bills, but it only is worth saying it's fun. Those were fun years if you won at least maybe 1 or 2, but
Right.
you can't really say like, oh yeah, that was cool to be relevant and then not come away with it with any sort of hardware or that glory almost, you know?
Yeah, I mean,
But
John
it's fair.
Elway had the same thing. Like he went to multiple Super Bowls and never won, and then it wasn't until he had 2 years left in his career, and he played
Yep.
till he was 38 years old.
Yep.
It wasn't until he was 36, 37 that he won.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, some players have that experience. Other players have the Brett Favre experience where you win early and that's it. Ben
And that's it.
Roethlisberger too, kind
Aaron
of.
Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers.
Mm-hmm.
And then some players get it at the way end. It feels like Lamar and Josh Allen are one of those that are going to end up getting it at the end.
Oh, I wonder if, obviously he's already got 3 Super Bowls, speaking about Patrick Mahomes, but do you think he might be, he doesn't look like it, but do you think he might be one of those like win early and never wins again?
No,
It's already a dynasty.
Yeah, he's different. He's like he's like Tom Brady in that way. We never felt like Tom Brady was going to fade off into the abyss. Like we knew every year the Super Bowl was going to be probably the Patriots until Tom Brady left, and that's going to be Mahomes.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah,
I wish,
seems like
I pray every night.
Kyle prays every night like I would with the Packers too. I'd be like, please God, let them suck.
I don't understand you in all of your ways, but I need a favor.
Oh my God,
If
dude!
you care about me, will you break Mahomes' leg? No, I'm kidding.
Will you injure this man?
Will you injure this man? Not seriously. Just a stinger.
Just like for the game. Just like for the game.
Yeah, no, he's gonna be such a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Could you imagine having him in your your division?
Well,
What if he was the Packers quarterback?
Sort of. Oh God, dude, I would. Oh God, don't even bring that up, man. It's just I'm getting just Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre, and now Jordan Love shit again. Like it's like, damn, is Jordan Love really good? Is he actually like a fucking beast? And it's like,
you see him podcasting?
Yeah, probably.
Going around.
I didn't.
Yeah, he's done like 4 podcasts. He did, I think he did like one. He's done like 3 or 4. I can't remember them right now, but they were big ones, like with I think Brandon Marshall, maybe. That one is called I Am Athlete.
Yeah.
I think he was on like one with Ryan Clark. Did Ryan Clark leave ESPN, by the way?
I don't think so.
I thought I heard that. I might have dreamt it.
Yeah, I don't think I have not heard anything about Ryan Clark leaving. Ryan Clark agrees to stay at ESPN after contract negotiation issues. So that was 3 days ago. So he agreed to a new deal. He is not.
Oh,
left,
okay.
so.
Oh, he stayed. So it was, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I forgot what I was saying. What was I talking about before that?
About
the podcast, Jordan Love.
The podcast with Jordan Love, yeah.
So he's been going around, and you can tell he's really starting to like step into. He's not in Aaron Rodgers' shadow anymore.
Yeah,
like,
he's becoming his own.
He's becoming his
almost.
own guy, and I think he's only going to get better because he does seem like a humble guy. But now he's kind of getting that like that swagger. He's getting that swagger to him.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think he's definitely due for I guess like, what would you say, like a year 2 jump?
No, I don't think he's due.
But it's like a year 2 jump for him could land him in the top 5.
He really could kind of have that, and it just be like one of those situations again where, like you're saying,
The Bears need Caleb Williams, maybe.
dude,
Does that
dude.
go into your situation? The Lions' emergence, Jordan Love, like that must
Hell
come
yeah.
into the equation. Like we can't afford to not have the best quarterback in our division. That has to be the one area we dominate because we're not going to have the best team, and we're not going to have the best. I'm trying to think of what the Packers are best at. I guess they don't have anything.
I mean, right now, the Packers defense kind of on the incline, especially with what they did in the playoffs.
Yeah, you can give them the defense.
The Lions have the better offense,
Team.
I would
Yeah.
say, and maybe better team coaching staff as well. The Vikings seem to have a really solid coaching staff. The defense, not amazing.
Would you put Dan Campbell? You would put Dan Campbell above Matt LaFleur?
Oh, that's a good question.
I personally, personality-wise, I got Dan Campbell. But like head coach-wise, it's a tough one because they're totally different. But as far as like where the NFL, which direction it's heading, I think Matt LaFleur has the longest, I guess, shelf life because he comes from the Shanahan tree and he's innovative, and he's an offensive genius like Mike McDaniel and Kyle Shanahan.
And I will say he's had rough seasons where prior to those seasons he's already had success, so you have that trust in him.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's a down year, sure, but let's look at Aaron Rodgers left. We have injuries. Our running game isn't good. Our defense looks kind of shitty at times, right? Like we need to build it a little bit. So you kind of have that what is that, benefit of the doubt almost with LaFleur. And Dan Campbell wasn't there yet. I mean, he sucked his first 2 years. And really the tail end of last year was when it was like, oh shit, the Lions, watch out. And they proved that this year. So can he sustain that throughout his rest of his, head coaching tenure there? Right. Right now, I guess I would put LaFleur over Campbell because, like you said, right, he's coming from the Shanahan tree. He's probably have a longer shelf life, and like I said, he's gone through some tough times, and he made the NFC divisional round this year with Jordan Love. You know what I mean? Like after getting rid of Aaron Rodgers,
conference championship against the Lions.
Oh. Yeah, almost. I thought you said the conference championship. I was like, no.
They really
almost
shit the bed, but I mean, it could have happened.
Yeah, 100%. Like, but to make it to the divisional round in a year where you have an unproven Jordan Love, a defense that is giving up a ton of points and looked really bad early and mid-season, and
finished
just
top 10 in points per game.
Just doubts, and just doubts overall. Yeah, like I'm thinking I am going to go LaFleur over O'Connell, over Dan, and over Eberflus at this point. And really, if you rank the coaches, I think Eberflus is fourth in that division. Easy. I think O'Connell has done much better than him. And then you got Dan in second, and then you got LaFleur first.
I think the case you could make for Dan being in first is the whole coaching staff collectively. Ben Johnson, he had Detroit fifth in points per game last year.
True.
Detroit's just ready to win a Super Bowl, like right now.
Yeah, I think so. The defense does need a little bit more work, though.
The collapse in the second half of the NFC Championship game was a huge reason. Huge. But I think Detroit. I have an active bet, $5 on Detroit to win the Super Bowl next year. I put it in immediately after that game.
Really?
Yeah, it wins $60. I thought those were pretty good odds.
That's not bad. What is that, like minus?
Probably like plus 400
or plus 400. Like, yeah, something like that. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Well, I mean, yeah, again, LaFleur with what he's done in his rebuilding year, it was impressive, and then the Cowboys are just impressive overall. So yeah, I'd probably put him up there. But Jordan Love, yeah, man, I hope he does not have a second year jump. I hope he has a second year collapse. I hope that entire team collapses like hard, like hard. But that's me. I'm a Bears fan. What the fuck do you expect, right? So I mean, come on.
That's messed up.
No, the fuck it is. Fuck that. Kyle's over here like, dude, I wish Patrick Mahomes would fucking suck. Dear God, can you just like give him a stinger?
Plus 1,200. That's
plus 1,200. Okay, nice. Well, Kyle, do you got anything else for the rest of the episode? I know we were kind of all over the place. We started off, but I kind of like this little like riffing we're going, because we kind of go tangents, but they're still interesting.
No, I love it. And I do have
Oh, do you have the little chives?
Unlimited.
Unlimited.
We need to get now. It's time for unlimited chives.
Kyle. What you got, Kyle?
What you got for us? What you got for us, Kidsman?
What you got for us, Kidsman?
Okay. So obviously, I said that we're going to be doing everything we can to try to bring you guys the best content.
Get fucking set!
And that's part of it.
That's part of it. And second off, tomorrow night, I will be going to bed. And when I wake up on Saturday, I will be at the combine.
Let's go.
I'm going to the combine.
Baby, let's go.
Going to the combine. It's going to be quarterbacks, wide receivers, and running backs. They have like a fake combine outside so I can sling it.
Oh, shit.
I hurt my back the other day, so hopefully that gets better by then. But yeah, I called my uncle and I was like, do you want to go to the combine? And he was like, yeah, let's do it. It's totally free.
So like in Indianapolis
4 hours
to you isn't that far.
No, it's a 4-hour drive.
Yeah, it's not that bad. That's like us going to like from Seattle going to like Portland. So that's really not that bad. Holy shit. And hey, Bill said, say hi to Tom. Say hi to Tom Grossi. He's gonna be there.
I saw that. He was there. Hopefully I will maybe run into him.
And say and of course say thank you, Tom, for getting us to the 500 mark.
Can I lick your butthole, please?
I just want some of that Tom Grossi magic.
Just wanted to rub off on me.
Well, that's fucking cool, dude. Honestly, like have a good time, and it's great that you're going for like quarterbacks, wide receivers, and running backs. That's got to be fucking awesome to kind of be there for that.
Oh yeah, no, I'm stoked about it, and I never got to do anything like this before. I've never been to an OTA or a training camp or a combine. So yeah, it's gonna be cool to check out and cheer for the fastest 40s and just take fun videos, some fun shorts. Like I'm like, working for ESPN.
Make sure to get some interviews.
Just lie about who I am.
Yeah.
Hey, Kyle K from E40 ESPN Ocho. So we saw a lot of great 40s today. Anyone that impressed you specifically? Get the fuck out of my face, loser.
Dude, I'm talking to my mom. We're at dinner. You're like, is that your official statement?
It's like that nerd that interviews all the rappers. What's his name?
Oh,
nerd?
Nardwar.
Yeah.
That guy's cool. Whoop-de-doo.
Just
whatever the fuck.
You almost get your ass kicked.
That's gonna be Kyle. Is that your official statement? Get away from me. I'm eating with my mom at dinner.
Okay, we got it.
All right.
Thank you.
And check. Thanks,
Thank
man.
you, Chris.
You're speaking to no one. You just look in a general direction.
Just like touch your ear.
Yeah. Nope, he said that.
What's that? Right now? Oh, this just in. Tom Grossi is here. And he wants to do an interview with us. Come over here, Tom.
Let's go. Get the fuck out of here, drafty. Get the fuck out of my face. Bill's like, "Hi, I'm Kyle from the Sheboygan Tribune." Dude, you
Or,
should.
we can't do names, so I should just be like, I'm Kyle from the Only Football
Podcast.
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 Podcast. What? The Only Football Podcast? Yeah, we don't do names, not even our own.
Not even our own fucking name. We do that. Oh, well, that's gonna be fun. Kyle's more than likely gonna get some fucking awesome content from this.
We're stopping in Illinois first.
Oh, nice. Love that. Love that. So go check it. Go stay here on the Only Football Podcast to get stuff straight from the combine. None of this ESPN filtered shit. It is 100% Kyle from the Only Football Podcast, unfiltered and ready to be drunk.
I'm gonna be out there slinging it, and we got the Holiday Inn right next to the stadium. Ooh. By the way, Jinja, if you're watching this later, hit me up. We'll link up at a bar.
There you go.
And there's a sports bar. It's like a block from the stadiums, and there's like a sports bar right there with a pool table. I was like, okay, perfect. We can get some wings and beer after the combine's over, like around 4. We'll probably be done watching people run sprints from like 1 to 4. We'll be like, okay.
That was enough.
That was enough sprints, but that was awesome. Let's go to the bar.
That was good. That was good. Well, Kyle, awesome that you get to go, man. I hope you have a lot of fun. I hope there's some cool opportunities to pop up too for you, and hopefully you're able to get that sling of the football. For us, and you're able to sling that football, and you're able to impress. Shit, Kyle might get drafted.
Dude, what if I get drafted? What if I got drafted? Oh my God, what if we start our own TV, like our own TV series? Like I go to the combine, I end up getting drafted.
Yes.
I'm like, I have to do like interviews throughout the season.
I'm your agent.
You're my
just a bunch of fucking shenanigans that we get into. That'd be a great series.
That would be a good series.
That would be sick.
I'm gonna write that down.
More ideas. But all right, guys. Well, thank you guys all so much for being here. Again, we kind of just fucking shot from the hip on today's episode, but hopefully, I think it was entertaining. I definitely had fun.
I had a good
Bill
time.
was having a good time too. Lil E in the house. Bill and Lil E.
Bill got the reference to all the Giants Super Bowl.
He did.
Because up here he goes, we beat the Bills in one of those, and I know I think they beat the Broncos in one of those too.
Oh, in the 90s, yeah.
So Bill just had to hear everybody.
Just rub some salt in the wounds.
In all of them.
Bill, the Giants have beat some. The Giants have beat some fucking like titans of teams. The Bills, the Broncos, then the Patriots twice. Like those are some impressive fucking wins for the Giants.
I mean the Giants. The Giants are the one team that you just can never shit talk. You know?
You really can. It's like we beat the Patriots twice. We beat Tom Brady
twice. So
what more do you
whatever.
Want?
We would have beat him more in the Super Bowl, but we only saw him twice.
Thank you guys again so much for being here on the Only Football Podcast. Again, tune in Mondays and Thursdays during the off season. We're going to be going live for the draft as well. There's some important stuff obviously going on throughout the off season, and you're going to catch all the news here on the Only Football Podcast with Kyle and myself. Rick, if you guys want to follow us on X, go follow us at Only Football Pod, and you can follow me at And Now Rick. Kyle, where can they follow you on X?
You can follow me at NFL with Kyle. That's it.
Much better. Much better. And Kyle, again, we're trying to also get our own YouTube pages up and running with some more content. You could follow me at I'm Rick right there on YouTube. So go follow me. I'm going to be posting Bear stuff and really just kind of maybe like just me stuff. So Kyle, where can they follow you on YouTube?
Yeah, I'm really tempted to I saw something today about somebody that puts their milk in before the cereal, and I wanted to really go in on that. So yeah, I think my NFL with Kyle, there's more out there that I get interested in. So that'll probably be my YouTube channel. But you can find it at Kyle Kitzman first and last.
Kyle Kitzman.
With a Z, not an S.
Not an S, a Z,
and
guys.
Yes, it might be Jewish.
Possibly. We'll see. We're going to look into that. We're going to do the test. We're going to do all that. So we will let you guys know if Kyle is Jewish. 100%. We will be doing the DNA test live.
Well, I'm not 100% Jewish.
We're going to do the DNA test live, okay?
We'll do the DNA test live. I'll just be spitting in a tube the whole entire time.
I'm thirsty. Shut the fuck up.
Keep spitting.
All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for being here. Again, Mondays and Thursdays, catch us. And again, to everybody who joined us and is joining us after the live stream, thank you guys so much. NFL Combine. The draft is coming up. It's going to be an exciting time. And Kyle, always a good time, brother.
Always a good time. See